So it is my honor to ask to come to the podium, as I call him, the tip of the spear against anti-Semitism, our friend and our brother, Mr. Johnathan Greenblatt. Please, come.
It is Shabbat Shalom. It is truly, truly an honor to be present for prophetic leadership. That is what you do, Rabbi. I can feel it. Feel it inside me. I think everyone here can likely feel it. Everyone watching. You don't see it often enough. And it is a gift from God to have that. And I appreciate that when I came in, my wife and I walked in, and one of these gentlemen led me, I'm not sure who it was. And I sat in the back, and you brought me up. And then you said, we want to welcome our guests. And you acknowledged my wife, Marjan, and you welcomed Scott, my colleague. But I don't think we're guests when you walk into your home. So I don't think that we're here as guests. I think we're here coming home. Because I really believe there is only one home. Yeah, please sit. Oh, dear goodness. Yeah, for sure. Y'all got to sit. Don't stand up for me. But I will say that I do feel like this is, I come here not as a guest. I come here as part of one family. And that family, right, is the family that God has created for all of us. It's our faith. And you also said something a moment ago. You said, this is not the norm. I don't believe that. So the one thing I really want to make sure that I say to every single person here in this bayit, in this Knesset, in this shul, in this home, is that there is no norm when you're worshiping God. That's the norm. That's the norm in that ark. And we all have the same norm. So let's not let anyone confuse us. Let's not anyone tell us that this is how it's got to be, that it's this way or that way. It doesn't matter, in my opinion, how you look. It doesn't matter, in my opinion, where you're from. And it doesn't matter, in my opinion, whether you have, music in your service. What matters to me is that you have Torah. And what matters to me is that you have a neshama, a Jewish soul. And there is clearly so much neshama in this place. And that is special. And that reminds me that God is great. And it is a gift to be here on any day, because Shabbat is the holiest day. It's particularly a gift to be here for Shabbat Chol HaMoed, in between, when we are honoring this Pesach. And in the Parsha that we read, and I must say, Yasher Koach to everyone who read this morning. That is no small thing. That is no small thing. And in the Parsha that we read, God tells Moshe Rabbeinu to go into the rock and that he will see him there. I'm paraphrasing. I'm not saying it in the Hebrew, and I'm probably getting it wrong. But Moses asks to see God, and God says, no, you'll go into the rock and you will see me, but not see my face. Not see me like I'm some person. Not see me with the countenance you expect on another man or another woman. You will see me, he essentially says, through what you do. You see God through your work. You see God. You see God when you do tzedakah. You see God when you do tikkun olam. You see God through your deed. So look, I agree with Rabbi Yehuda as you laid it out. There are no pearly gates there. These are the gates. We are the gates. We are commanded to do this work, and it is through doing this work that we see God, that we experience God, that we feel God. If you don't feel God in this room, you're not doing the work. If you don't feel God in your heart, I'm not even sure you're really here. But, you know, the story of Exodus reminds us, it's a story about a journey, right? God tells Moses that the people of Israel need to journey forth. Not that they should fight the Egyptians. Not that they should drown themselves in the sea. Not that they should go back. Not that they should just pray, by the way. He tells them to journey forth. God tells us, God tells the Jewish people, God tells us through Moses that it is our job to journey forth, to do the work. And it is through doing the work that we experience God. So I say that because I think what I learned from that and what I'll share today, doing the work, it is not easy. The work is hard. The work is a struggle. Now, it can be a joyous struggle, but isn't that what the word Israel means? It means to wrestle, right? To do the work. And in some ways, it's never been harder to do the work. So I'm here as the CEO of ADL. And that may be an organization you know or you may not know, but for 110 years, it has been fighting for the Jewish people. Not based on what synagogue you attend, or what you think your denomination is, or where you live in the world, or what your station may be. ADL's value, its belief, long before I got here, was to fight for all the Jewish people. That's the mission. The mission they wrote 110 years ago, that its purpose is to, quote, stop the defamation of the Jewish people and secure justice and fair treatment to all. Justice and fair treatment to all. Not just to all Jews in America. Again, not just to all Jews who worship in an Orthodox shul or a Reform shul. Not just all Jews who show up every Saturday. But to all the Jewish people. All of us. All of us. But that work has never been harder. I mean, you start out with the fact that in this country, the gift that it is, and I believe America is a gift for sure, but there are temptations, there are things pulling at us every day. And then you add to it the moment that we're in, where it's not just, if you will, like secular temptation. It's not just some other exogenous thing. There are forces pulling at our country from the inside out. And too often, They're focused on the Jews. Too often, they make the Jews the focus of their blame. Think that we're the problem. And the data all shows it. Anti-Semitic attitudes hit a 30-year high last year. 30 years. Incidents, acts of harassment and vandalism and violence, the highest number ADL has ever seen in 45 years of collecting the information. And so let me tell you something, because this is how I see it. Like, I don't feel like a guest in this show. I feel like I'm home. And when a Jewish person gets attacked in Brooklyn, he may dress awfully different than me. That's a member of my family. And when a Jewish person gets harassed on a street corner in Los Angeles that may be far from where I live, that's a member of my family. When anyone in this room gets told that your Judaism isn't Jewish enough, that's a different kind of harassment, because you're all members, as I see it, of my family. Klal Yisrael, of Am Yisrael. And the challenge we have, I think, as a Jewish people, with the gift of Torah, with the obligation of Tikkun Olam, with the need for tzedakah, is this is a gift. But again, it's not easy. We have to journey forth. And it is in the journey, again, if you go back to the Parsha, that we find God. In a moment when the journey is harder than ever. It's what's happening on our streets. It's what's happening in our phones. It's what's happening in our politics. It's what's happening right now in Medinat Yisrael. It's not easy. But I think, for me, I take faith. I take tremendous faith. I mean, the only way that I'm honestly able to do my job, it's number one, because of my wife and my children and the strength they give me. It's because of my faith. That's it. Like, Rabbi Yehuda, you're kind to call me the tip of the spear. But I think I have no pretensions of grandeur. I have no delusions of greatness. I think I'm just a servant of God. I think we all are. And I think it's just my job, my obligation to journey forth and to do the work, to defend our people wherever they may be, however they may worship, whatever they might look like. Because again, we're all part, I believe, of one family, Yisrael. So you thanked me for coming here today. But I want to thank you as I start before your prophetic leadership. I want to thank you for the energy and the spirit that I feel in this place, in every single person out here. But I also just want to thank you humbly, like as a Jew, for opening my eyes and giving me this opportunity. It's a blessing. It's a blessing to do the work. It's a blessing to be on the journey, but it's a blessing to be in this place with brothers and sisters. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. What a blessing it is to be here with my brothers and sisters. Thank you. Shabbat shalom.